I play Billy Claven, who is a young disabled boy. He's 17 years old, living on the island of Inishmaan. He is an orphan who has been raised by two women. Kate is who he calls his aunties, Auntie Kate and Auntie Eileen, but aren't really his aunties. And at the beginning of the, he's kind of views himself as being condemned to pretty much spend his whole life on this island. And very early on in the play, he sees an opportunity to get off this island when he hears of a film being made on a neighbouring island, and he makes it his mission to try and get across to it, because he sees it as a potential way off the island. And that's sort of where Billy is at the start of his journey. And he's somebody that really spends his time between the extremes of hope and despair, and that's, I think, a lot of what the play's about.
What about me sweeties, Mitzi?
Ah, you've done it now, haven't you?
Oh, your old auntie is a mad woman, Cripple Billy.
Mrs. Osborne isn't Cripple Billy's auntie at all, anyways. She's only his pretend auntie, same as the other one. Isn't that right, Billy?
It is.
They only took him in when Billy's mum and dad went and drowned themselves when they found out Billy was born a cripple boy.
They didn't go and drown themselves.
All right.
They only fell overboard in rough seas.
Uh-huh. What were they doing sailing in rough seas so? And wasn't it at night time too?
Trying to get to America, but the mainland they were.
No, trying to get away from you they were. Be distance or be death, it made no differ to them.
Well, how the hell would you know when you were just a babby at the time, the same as me?
My dad's from an area of Ireland that it would be unhelpful had I been doing that accent. My dad's from Northern Ireland, so it's a very different thing. It's learning the accent was. It is an ongoing thing. It's like I'm pleased with it, to be honest. Like, it's in I think a really good place, and I've managed to, the rest of the cast, most of whom are Irish, all seem pretty happy with it. So I am pleased with it. But I think it's definitely going to be something that just gets better and better and better the more I do it. But it's been fun, and it's a fun accent to talk in, and it's a fun and the stuff that wouldn't necessarily be funny in an English accent for some reason is just funnier in an Irish accent.
What does he know was in their heads that night? He wasn't in that boat.
Sure, didn't they have a sack full of stones tied between themselves?
That's pure gossip that they had a sack full of stones tied between themselves, and even Johnny Patine agrees on that one.
For people who have followed my career, they're kind of used to me picking darker, maybe slightly less predictable kind of material. And this definitely comes under the same category. It's a very, very dark play and very, very funny. But yeah, and I hope they'll see. It's a very different performance from anything they've seen from me before. Obviously, an Irish accent and a great deal of physicality because of Billy's because he's disabled, and that's that. So those are some sort of very superficial kind of differences that people can obviously see. But there's, I think, as every time I come to the stage, and it's a very different character, I learn something new, and I think I grow, and definitely this experience has been no different. But I think ultimately, people should come to see a great play and though I'm in it and my face is on the poster, and I think Billy is the character sort of through whom the audience get the story, which is why it's called The Cripple of Inishmaan. It is very much an ensemble piece about this island and everyone that lives on it. So it's but I would hope that they would